Welcome to Lost Girl Therapy, where we work on getting you back to you. Today, we are going to talk about how the body can sometimes store trauma. And I'm going to provide a real life example because I find that is the easiest way for me to talk about this. There was a time, maybe about 2 years ago, where I hurt my back. And honestly, I don't know how I did it. It could have been from yoga, it could have been from lifting boxes, it could have been from just like a run gone wrong where I tweaked something. But I didn't listen to the pain. I learned how to avoid it. So in my workouts, in my daily movements, I would change the way that I existed in order to prevent that pain from happening. And I went to a slew of doctors. I did a ton of recovery, a ton of PT to address the issues that came from that original injury that was kind of compounded by a whole bunch of life events. So I basically hurt my back, but around that time, a whole bunch of stuff happened in my life where it was a high stress environment. And I didn't process anything because I was so focused on just getting through the day and allowing myself to not feel that really intense, sharp shooting pain that I worked around everything. Now, fast forward 2 years and I've done a lot of progress with recovery and physical therapy and regular talk therapy. But today I got Reiki done. And Reiki is a really beautiful practice for the healing with hands. So I'm a Reiki practitioner. If there are many resources online to look up what Reiki is, I'm going to do a very poor job explaining it in this video. But I had Reiki done, and before I had it done, the practitioner who was giving it to me asked me if I wanted to focus on any area. And I just mentioned my back because no matter how much physical therapy I do, every single time I touch it, it just is not getting better. And I've now kind of leaned into the idea that perhaps there is some energetic block that's just making this obstruction unable to heal. So throughout the Reiki practice, I can feel the energy kind of moving and doing its thing. But the moment that she rests her hands on my back, I get a sharp shooting pain in the back of my head. And I can tell the difference between what is energetic pain or what is physical pain. So for me, I understood that this is something having to do with stored trauma, not a physical pain. And when you have that ability to decipher what you're holding, it makes it a lot easier to kind of decide on the approach. So when she was resting her hand on my back and I was kind of breathing through the sensation of someone basically the whacking me in the back of the head in the same spot over and over, I kind of had this exploratory moment and I said, what's behind the pain? And this is something that when we talk about trauma being stored in the body, it's a really hard space to hold because the body remembers experiences. Remember that the body has 5 senses plus your intuitive 6th sense. So when you have an experience that leaves you feeling traumatized, or a trauma that is done onto you and you just have not processed it or you're not ready to process it, the body is going to store all of the sensations as well as the repressed sensations that we're not letting out.